That's what they fucking call me Yoni.
Don't trip.
Was good, was good, was good. Um, I've been thinking about something. Um, and I don't like sharing too many of my thoughts on the internet. But there's something I've been thinking about, and I wanted to just put it out there on the internet to the universe, see if I'm making any sense, even if anybody wants to be part of something. So when I started Radio 254, I was a Kenyan artist living in the diaspora, and I was listening to a lot of Kenyan music, and I knew how good this music was. So I'm living in the States. I grew up in Kenya, so I was listening to Kenyan music all the time, and I would continue to listen to Kenyan music even when I was in the States. So I'd go to Reverb Nation, I'd go to SoundCloud, I'd go wherever I could find Kenyan music. Um, Gafla at the time was really big for Kenyan music. There was a website called getmziki.com that I would go get Kenyan music from. I'd go to so many different sites to find Kenyan music. And every time I'd play people Kenyan music, they'd say, yo, this is really good. So I knew that Kenyan music was good and that people like listening to it. They just didn't want to go out and research to find it. So I basically created a place where you could literally go on a website, press play, and listen to Kenyan music. And the funny thing is, it started off with just a play button. There was no there was no branding. It was a literally like a VLC type site where you would press play on a button, no logo, and that would take you to this playlist of Kenyan music that I had been building. I think at the time I had 10 terabyte, 1 terabyte hard drives of Kenyan music. So all I did was put together all of the Kenyan music I had and put it on a place where people could stream it. And in the beginning, I actually collaborated with some podcasters and offered them non exclusive podcast agreements where I would air their podcast on Radio 254 and they would still be able to own their podcasts and distribute them on streaming platforms. And I started with Ado Valley podcast. I was still in the States. I also did Surviving Nairobi podcast and and a couple other podcasts, but the ones I remember were Ado Valley and Surviving Nairobi. And this was just, the collection of music that I had, as well as podcasts, because podcasts were really big this time. This was around 2020, 2021. That continued on, and I moved back to Kenya and I started a physical space. And that was really an amazing situation because this music that I was playing on the radio, I was now getting to interview the artists whose music I was playing on the radio. So that really helped Radio 254 grow because there was a physical space, we were doing interviews, and we had live shows. And I give, to the best of my ability, as many people as possible the opportunity to come and have a live show on Radio 254. And that continued to grow. We were able to get advertising. We did a campaign for Black and White Whiskey and started having events. We did our Freedom Edition event. We did golf and concert. And it's just trying to grow, figure out how do we get Kenyan music to where we feel like it needed to be. And my thing has always been, I think that Kenyan music is good enough and big enough to be at the same place as Afro beats. I think I think it's possible. I think it's good enough. It sounds good. People enjoy it. I'm always playing Kenyan music for people, and people all over the world like it. So it's not that it's not good. It's just that we need to support it and market it better. And my mission and my goal was always simple: Kenyan music to the world. I wanted the world to listen to Kenyan music, and I always thought maybe Kenyans need to be listening to more Kenyan music. So anyway, through these events and advertising, we continue to grow. And some, I'll be honest and say some points along the road, I feel like I lost the plot of what the goal was. Fast forward, had to move to a different space and then try to continue doing that, continue trying to do events. Events weren't really working out. And I promised to never do another event. So events is not my space. It's not my calling. It's not what I came here to do. I came to push Kenyan music to the world. I want the world to be able to listen to Kenyan music and hear how good it is. Because as far as I can remember, since 2009, I've been listening to Kenyan music and I know how good it is. And I have a collection of so many songs to show you how good Kenyan music is. But as I continue to push for Kenyan music, I realize there's a lot of Kenyan artists who don't have their music on streaming and want a chance to be heard. And a lot of the music submissions we started to get were from people whose music was not on streaming, but they were trying to be heard. So we gave these guys an opportunity through music submissions. So through music submissions, we got thousands and thousands and thousands of people submitting their music, asking to get played, and we would always give them an opportunity. I'm willing to say that I don't think a lot of the music that we play and I play on Radio 254 is ever going to be played on another radio station. We are the only radio station that's playing a lot of the Kenyan music that is being submitted by upcoming artists. So we support a lot of upcoming artists. That's our audience, to be honest. Our audience is not BN, it's not Otile Brown, it's not Toxic Lyrically. Those guys don't need me. I'm here for the Kenyan artists. But at the same time, my purpose and my goal has shifted because when I started, the idea of having a million people listening to the radio was insane. It was like a million people won't listen to Kenyan music. Even I didn't think that would happen. Um, and 6 years on, we have over 85 million listeners who have come to listen to Kenyan music. So the notion that millions of people won't listen to Kenyan music, that's been demystified or been debunked. So Kenyan music is being listened to by millions. So I know there's an audience for Kenyan music. My new problem is different. My new problem is not getting people to listen to Kenyan music because people are listening. If anything, I know that the people who listen to Kenyan music are not even in Kenya. My biggest audience of listeners are in France and Germany. Genuinely, people in Brazil, people all over the world are listening to Kenyan music. So even when people are like, oh, I want to advertise, I don't know if my audience is going to hear. Our audience for Kenyan music and for Radio 254 is not Kenyan, it's the world. And so the mission of Kenya to the world, we've achieved that. I honestly don't beg anybody to listen anymore. I don't remember the last time I said tune in, but consistently 10,000, 12,000 people are listening to the station from all over the world. South Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Canada, Qatar, Dubai, everywhere in the world, people are listening. So listenership, that dream, I surpassed that dream of having people listen to the radio. My mom doesn't listen to the radio. My brother doesn't listen to the radio. My friends don't listen to the radio. Some people on the internet that I don't know are listening to the radio station, and I'm grateful for them because I don't know why, I don't know how. I know that they're finding it, they're loving it. Sometimes I come across a tweet saying, "Hey, I really love the radio station. I'm discovering new Kenyan music. Hey, I have a barber shop. I'm playing the radio. Hey, I'm in Amsterdam. I have a cafe and I'm playing the radio." So shout out to those people, the ones in Somalia, the ones in Dallas, wherever you are in the world, and you listen to Radio 254, God bless you. That means the world to me. But as the person who started this and the person who had a mission of the world hearing it, I've reached that mission. But I have a new challenge and problem that I feel is mine to fix, but I can't do it alone. And that problem is millions of streams and nothing to show for. What do I mean by this? I go on YouTube, I'll find a Kenyan song, it has millions of streams, but that Kenyan artist does not have millions of shillings in their bank account. That troubles me because I'm like, okay, cool. The same thing with the radio. I can sit here and brag and say 85 million people have listened to Radio 254, but that's not good enough. How have the people whose music I've played benefited from that? if I can't say they got a gig, if I can't say they're getting paid, that's valueless to me. So the value for me that I want to be part of or I want to create is I want to create value for the Kenyan artists whose music I play. I want to say this is how much a stream is, and I want to make sure that you get paid when people stream your music. So in 2023, I registered a trademark for a platform called Play KE. And Play KE is a streaming partner. It's not a streaming platform, it's a streaming partner. I want to be a partner to Kenyan creatives because I those are not even my audience, those are the people I care for. Those are the people I'm trying to improve their lives. And when I look at YouTube or I look at Spotify, and please don't sue me, I'm just trying to use examples. And I see so many millions of views, and you don't have that money, and it's not impacting you that you have the views. That's a problem. And that's a problem I want to solve. I've invested a significant amount of money into building technology, and that technology is simple. I want you to be a creative. I want you to upload your creative work. I want you to market it, and I want you to be paid for every stream. And if we define a stream and say, okay, one stream is $1, or one stream is 1 shilling. For every stream, I want to take 50 cents so I can sustain this platform, and I want to give you 50 cents because it's your work. And hypothetically, if we use a dollar or a shilling, if we say 1 million streams, you're getting 50% of that. If you have 1 million streams, you have 500,000. Or if you have 1 million streams, that's $1 million. You can have half of $500,000. That's 500,000. Why not? Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you want to go with is not going to give you half. Skills Tunes is not going to do that. But I'm a creative myself. I make music. I think if you look hard enough on the internet, you'll find the music that I've made. My wife is an artist. She makes music. And imagine if that ecosystem could go to the point where you can own a song and add your producer to get split. So if you're getting 50 cents or half of a dollar, your producer can get 10 of that. And you're getting 40 and they're getting 10, and the platform gets 50 so it can continue sustaining itself. The problem I've had so far is some people feel as though they'd be helping me build my platform. And I can respect that. But I have an issue with us building other people's platforms that are not Kenyan, and they're not going to pay you. Not equally. I want to be your partner, equal partner, 50-50. Whatever the currency we choose to go with, I want to be your partner 50-50. If you get a million streams, it's publicly available, you have a million streams, half of that is yours. And I want us to have trust where that's your money, whether you die, your children will get that money, and it's something that's going to provide for you. I want to see G-Wagons being bought by Kenyan artists because of their music. They didn't have to wait for an endorsement deal. They didn't have to do what that we can replace MCSK because we know we have a system where you are a creative, you've uploaded your creative works, you've pushed it, and you're getting money from that. Why is it that artists artists from other countries are able to make money from their streams, and Kenyan artists are waiting for Boomplay or whoever to come and save you? I have created a solution for Kenyan creatives. It's called Play KE, but it's not for everybody in the sense of it's just for Kenyan creatives. Love my Tanzanian brothers, love my Ugandan homies, love my South African cats, love everybody else, but this is for Kenyans to solve an issue we have in the Kenyan entertainment industry, which is how do people make money from their work? Because you can't tell me that Brooklyn Boys are being awarded for 30 million streams and they don't even have a million bob. They should have half of that in their bank accounts. That's the solution I want to provide and say, okay, cool. Let streams not be something we brag about, but streams be what you can show. Okay, this is how much I'm making for my music. This is what my catalog is worth. But you can go to NCBA or KCB and say, hey, this is how much I'm making from streams. I need a loan so I can be able to invest into my music and do a tour, and I'm going to make this back. Or I'm going to make an album, invest in my album, and from that album, I'm going to make 100,000. Because what's the point of a million streams on YouTube or a million streams on Spotify or a million streams on Boomplay? You can't pay rent, can't pay for health insurance, you don't have school fees for your children. That's why I'm like, I don't even brag about the views no more. What's the point of saying I have 85 million listeners when I don't have 85 million and the artists who I'm playing don't have 85 million? It's useless for us to even be discussing. There's nothing to discuss at that point. I want us to discuss and say we're building a Kenyan music industry, one that Kenyan creatives can benefit from. And this is not just about music. I know guys like Kinyash who make movies and shows and they put them on YouTube. What if you were getting money from that? And all it takes genuinely is for the consumer, and the consumer doesn't have to be Kenyan, but the consumer to see the worth of the creative's work and be willing to pay for it. If you could support Frank White's new album and buy that, or make sure that the streaming money is going towards him, you could make him a millionaire. And do you know what that makes does for him? It helps improve his family's life. It helps him put more money into his music. It helps motivate other people. Calligraph is the OG and he has a big house, but imagine if we could have 16 other OGs who are building houses and doing what Calligraph is doing. I want to solve this problem. I am not interested in seeing Wakadinali with X amount of millions of views, and those millions of views are not equivalent to the millions in their bank account. So I don't want you to do me a favor. You do not have to listen to my radio station. It does not affect my life in any way if you listen to my radio station. But if we can figure out a Kenyan solution for Kenyan creatives to make money from their creative works, that's what I'm trying to do. And we can all decide to be tech bros and start our own platforms and I don't even care. If Play K is not for you, I'm okay with that. You can go to Hustle Sasa, you can go wherever you want to go. But I want us to figure out how can Kenyan creatives not just have millions of views and not millions of shillings. I want to see millions of views equal to millions of shillings. If you're Lil Minor and you have X amount of millions of views, you should have X amount of millions. And if we can be able to say that if you know there's a platform that is trusted, that if you are going to put your work on there, it's transparent and you're going to make money from that. That's what I'm interested in at this point in my life. If I never do another radio show, I'm not even doing radio shows right now. I'm not interested in getting you to listen to my radio station. My radio station has an audience. They know themselves, whether it's the artist whose music they're submitting and I'm putting it on the website, whether it's the people in diaspora who are listening to it, whether it's the people who are reaching out and said, hey, please share my music. I know what role I have to do and I'm doing it every day. But I found a problem. I've created a solution. And I want to know if there's people out there who want to be part of this solution. And it's simply a Kenyan solution for Kenyan creatives to end the problem of millions of views or streams and nothing to show for. And I know there's lots of Kenyan artists out there who are struggling financially. And I've been there, struggling to make money from this creative industry. But there's a lot of money in the creative industry, but we have to cut out the middleman. We have to find solutions. And I don't want to sit here and say, oh, Kenyan music this, Kenyan music that. I know everything there is to know about Kenyan music, and talking about it won't do anything. I've created a platform. I want to put this platform out there. I want it to help people. And that's my legacy. I want to see millionaires from Kenyan music or Kenyan movies or Kenyan shows, and to have facilitated that. And if you can become a millionaire and do your thing, I'll be grateful. You don't owe me nothing. But I want to make sure that the platform that is going to help you get there is sustainable, that we're not going to switch up one day and say, oh, we need more than 50. We're partners. We have the platform, we'll pay for the hosting fees, we'll make sure there's an app that's working for Android, for iOS, the website, everything, the payments. We'll pay the taxes on the streams. But you need to make sure you're creative, you're putting your creative work out there, you're marketing your work and not the platform so that people can go and listen to your work. Don't push my platform. My platform doesn't need to be pushed. it sells itself. We're partners. We're both going to benefit. So if you're interested in this, let me know. Comments. You can find me wherever you can find me, but I have a solution for Kenyan creatives, and that's where my mind is at right now. And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to preach to you guys. I want to just say that's the problem I have. I don't want to continue pushing out, hey, do this, do this. Nah, I think that having been doing the radio thing being successful as it is, the next level is now making sure that we're not just pushing Kenyan music to the world, but Kenyan artists can make money from their work so that they can reinvest in that, so that their lives can be better. And Kenyan music keeps getting better. The music is already good. Kosa Juang is there, guys are out there doing their thing, and they're going to continue doing their thing. But can we change their lives? Can we put money in their pockets? Can we go beyond just streams and bragging about numbers and nothing to show for? Because I have no pride in saying I have 85 million listeners and nothing to show for. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. So if you feel how I feel, let me know. We can work together. At the end of the day, we're going to be partners. And I want to be a partner and part of the solution. So that's what Play K is all about. It's a Kenyan solution for Kenyan creatives. And I hope that it makes sense to you. If you agree, cool. If you don't agree, you can argue in the comments. We can go back and forth. I just think we need to solve the issue and stop just numbers, 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 but numbers don't convert. God bless.